What is up, everyone? I'm Jeff London. This is the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast, where we are intolerant to weak-minded attitudes that keep people from pursuing new and exciting things in the areas of fitness, outdoors, and general lifestyle. Episode 353 is Alpine hunting recap. I had three buddies from California come up here and did some hunting, did some camping, did some hiking. Cody and I did 40 miles of hiking in the 4 days that we did, or 5 days that we were in the Ketchikan area. He and I both ended up with nice bucks. Zach and Jake had a couple chances, but couldn't make it happen. But it was good times. We're going to recap that outside. Having some deer, fresh venison fajitas. We're going to talk about recapping the hunt, and that's coming up next. Make sure you go to themediocrealaskan.com for content. Follow Alaska Lund on Instagram or The Mediocre Alaskan on Instagram. And here we go with episode 53.
Okay. Been here a couple times now, so basically a local.
Pretty much a local.
Yeah.
What you think, Jeff?
Start right off with it, Cody. We just had fajitas from my deer. But tell me your rendition of the story. Getting the deers yesterday.
So it was day 4 of the hunt. It was supposed to be a huge storm, and it rained a little bit. Me and Jeff started going to the top of the hill.
Which we did because you guys said you didn't want to.
Well,
you guys you guys went
chilling
up top and you said, I'm done with the mountain. You didn't want to hike anymore.
Well,
and so Cody and I, being the willing and able dudes, were like, all right, we'll take it. You saw that 3x3.
No, basically,
We don't even want it.
No, basically, me and Jake, we're good guys, and we felt like it'd be the charitable deal. It'd be the charitable deal
nice
to
thing.
let Jeff and Cody go up and shoot our 3x3.
I appreciate it.
Are you even sure that's the same 3x3?
Absolutely. I saw this 3x3. I marked him, and I told Cody about him. And I said, you know what, Cody? I'd like if you guys went up there and shot him.
I appreciate it because I did just that.
Yeah,
And,
exactly that.
And that in itself makes this trip a success. I can't complain about
Just
anything.
an upstanding citizen there. All right, so we're up there. The plan was to go up there and to camp. Dropped off our stuff. Still in the rain.
Yep.
And then go from there.
Yeah, so rained pretty good. Get to the top of the mountain, and the wind is howling, probably
terrible.
over 20 miles an hour.
Ugh.
But we're hunting. We drop our stuff off, start going across the ridge, trying to find some deer. Get to a bowl where we think there might be some, and we end up seeing a couple down below. One ended up being a nice buck. Fog was so bad, could see it every 2 minutes or so probably. Wind was so bad. We were soaking wet, freezing our butts off. Couldn't stop shivering. Jeff was doing air squats trying to warm up.
I had to move back, man. We were right on that ledge. Like, it was a cliff right in front. And you went down a little bit more. There's like two stages to it. We crawled to the cliff, which was terrible because you're already wet, and then you're crawling on the slick Alpine, which is wet.
I tried to hide behind that rock, but it still didn't work.
Yeah. So then we go one down further, and then you're just like there on the ledge. So I backed up behind a little bit, do a little bit of squats to get the blood pumping, because when we were heading up, man, I sweated so much.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And then there was so much rain. And then we get to the top, drop off the stuff, and I left all my like warm changing gear because I didn't want to change while it was raining. Mm-hmm. So I left all the warm change of clothes there at the stuff with the tent and the dry bags. So yeah, I was stinking cold, and I was worried about you because you were like locked into that deer.
I was going to wait him out no matter what.
You were waiting him out, and I started thinking, man, is this how he gets pneumonia? or hypothermia? Is it gonna? Dude, you gotta let it go.
You text me, go do air squats so you don't get hypothermia.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm waiting him out.
I went around because I saw in one of those clearings, I saw what looked like a stud fork, and I was looking at that, and I said, well, I'm gonna go around. Were you upset that I didn't like stay with you to?
Not at all.
Okay.
No. If we had a chance to shoot too, then that would have been the best thing to do.
Worked out good as we're heading over there, and you said you were shivering uncontrollably. Like, I was just starting to feel my hands again. To that point, they didn't belong to me anymore. I could only feel 20% of my fingers. I tried to put my gloves on that were wet, and I 2 fingers were going in the same hole. I didn't even notice until they wouldn't fit. I'm like, why are they not? Oh, I can't feel them. It had stopped raining at that point, but it was still pretty windy.
Yeah, it was.
When I ducked behind the back of the mountain, it wasn't as windy, so that was okay. So I started getting feeling back there.
Yeah, you text me, oh, there's no wind back here. Cool.
Naturally.
Yeah.
So you were sitting there for a little while.
Yeah.
What from start to finish of looking at it, about how long was that? And then when you decided to make the shot, when did you do that?
Yeah, it was probably close to an hour from the time we got there, seen him, waited for the fog to stop coming through as much. I was trying to range him. My rangefinder would only pick up 20 yards, even though he was 245, just because the fog was so thick. There was no way we'd be able to shoot very effectively in that wind. So we had to just wait. And then by the time it started clearing up, he went and laid down, bedded down at a bad angle, kind of quartered towards me with his head turned in front of his vitals. Just no way to make a shot, so we had to wait him out and wait till he stood up. But probably about an hour from the time we seen him until the time finally got to take that shot.
That was cool that the fog became a little less frequent for a little while there, and so I'm glad that you held off, just because you can get really excited about, well, here it is, it's right there. I think I can make that shot. And if you get really settled and you had the perfect rest, you could take whatever time you needed to in order to make that shot. And so what if I just send it, and what if you just grazed it and it took off, or whatever, you wounded it. So that was cool that you stuck with it. And then finally, when it stood up, I was working around hoping that the fork would feed up over the top. And so the plan was fork feeds over the top, I shoot that one, and then you might shoot the other one, or you shoot that one first. And so we weren't really sure how it was going to go down. When it did stand up, what were you thinking?
Oh, I was watching your buck, trying to see where he was going. He was kind of feeding up towards your direction, so I was trying to keep ranging him, tell you where he was. He went in this 80-yard cut where I couldn't really see him anymore. So I was still trying to figure out where he was going, where he was at. And then I turned over, looked at mine, and he was standing up. So I jumped over to my gun, got ready, got my pack kind of set up a little bit better, put my Reese's up underneath where I needed my gun barrel to be. Oh, my Reese's sticks was a clutch. And then fired. And then it was your turn after that.
The first shot, within seconds, we get a text. We got a group text going on here. Within seconds, we get a text from Jake. Was that when you that shot? And so I text. I'm working around to get to a spot. I wanted to be able to look down and just see all the action, to see what was going on, see if that fork was starting to come over, or see if I could see where it was bedded down out of your view. So I hear the shot, and I run to the edge, and I just look over. Totally skyline, just looking down, and I see those 4 does. And I get the text from Jake, and so I just type Cody, and then second shot, and then I lay down just in case, something pops up. So I'm down, and then I see my fork. So take me through those seconds between your first shot and then your second shot, and then seeing me shoot at the fork.
First shot, 245 yards. Felt solid, felt like I hit him good. Knew I hit him, I seen him jump, but he was still up, so put another one in and got him again. And then after that, couldn't see him anymore. He wasn't running out of the trees or anything, so I figured he was down. And then probably 20, 30 seconds later, I heard your shot go off. What happened with your first shot?
Well, I was in this frantic sort of, when those things bed down, it seems like they bed down for hours sometimes. Then all of a sudden, they do just get up. And so it does get up, and I'm not prepared. I'm not looking. I'm still making my way over to that spot on the other side of the bowl, and I hear the shot, so I'm frantic. I'm moving. I'm wondering if the fork is gonna run over, and I'm texting Jake back. And then I hear the second shot, and then I see the does. I don't see anything, but I'm down and I'm ready. And then I see the fork, and so I thought, oh, here we go. This is best case scenario, right? And I just kind of looked at it. I didn't range it. I didn't know what it was, but I just let go, and I shot over its back. I saw it hit over its back, and it just kept standing there, and it was quartering away from me, just turning around, just looking at me. And so second one, I took a deep breath, shot again, and then it took about 2 steps, kind of the little hop thing, 2 steps, and it fell over. But that first one was all, you go from totally, cold and waiting and quiet and still and just
weren't shivering anymore, though.
Sneaking to all of a sudden boom shot, and then
Insanity.
boom text, and then boom shot, and then there's the fork, and here we go. And so the second one put it
texts
down.
in total. I think it was.
Yeah, and so
Every shot had a text.
Was that you guys too?
going crazy. Oh, Western, your post on Instagram was funny because it did get real Western real quick. But then, so I saw that mine was down, and then you weren't sure at first because you couldn't really
see after the second shot.
Where it was. So I went down to mine, and then you came around, and then we saw that yours was down too, and that was sweet.
Oh, man.
That was awesome. When you guys were down at this point, because I know Zach, you went swimming.
I was in the muskeg, yeah.
So at what point, where were you guys in your hunt down low? Because we'd seen a ton of sign down there,
Okay.
and a ton of bears, but we hadn't seen any bucks down low.
Yeah.
So where were you guys at with your adventure? And then when you hear the shots, what are you thinking?
So when this first shot went off, I think me and Jake were
Just chilling at base camp, really.
no. Where were we?
Yeah. And then
Okay.
we ended up going to the bottom of the bowl.
Yeah, because we got
Thought you guys would push some stuff down.
That's right. We got rained in, and we decided to wait the rain out at camp. And once the rain let off, we'd make our initial hike out and do some hunting. So we heard the shots, and we decided, we ought to start hunting now because these guys are done. So
Only took 4 shots.
yeah,
Well, that was the thing too. Like the initial plan of this was to hunt the afternoon because it's supposed to be
Yeah.
rainy all day, and we figured with the fog, once that left, because of the rain and because of the blow, after that when the deer start to pop out, and so we thought that maybe 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock or the evening
Exactly.
would be the time. So that was the basic plan,
exactly.
and so
What
it
was it,
wasn't.
like 10:30, 11 in the morning?
It was noon. It
Yeah.
was noon. It was high noon. It was
That-
about 45 minutes after it had stopped raining, but the fog was still rolling through. And that was at the time that the fog stopped rolling through, where we got consistent looks at the bottom of that bowl.
Exactly.
And we could see what was going on there.
Yeah, and that caught me and Jake off guard. We thought we'd get to rest until noon at least, and then crawl out of our tents and be rested up and go out for a hike. But these guys were done, so we went off for a hike. We went out. We did a pretty decent hike out.
Couple does.
and on the hike back in, I had a little encounter with a muskeg sinkhole. got absolutely buried down to my chest in some mud, and pretty much wrecked my day. But you know what? Two deer in one day, you couldn't break my spirits. We were pretty happy, and you can't complain. You get 2 deer down in one day, you sink down in a mud hole. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Those things get you, man. Like, you never, even if there's ways to walk around a muskeg, you want to step on the edges of those. You don't want to step in the greenest of the stuff is the most moist, and so you don't want to step in the middle of any of that stuff. Stay on the edges.
Yeah.
In order to keep the noise down, you want to step more on your toes than on your heels, because
Yep.
the heels, all the weight goes down to there. You'll suck your foot a
Suction
little
cup
bit.
right in.
So if you stay on your toes, I mean, that works the calves pretty good too. So, but even then, even if you do know what's going on and how to kind of try to navigate those without, you're still going to get stuck at some point. You're still
And
gonna
I was
fall
just
in.
walking. I was leading us, and I stepped right over it.
And that was the crazy
I
thing.
just turned around, and it's like to his chest.
It was probably a 2 foot trail, 2 foot wide trail, and Jake walks right through it, and I just step into this it's probably a 2 by 2 foot.
You're a lot heavier.
And I hit, oh my goodness, I sunk down to my bino harness, and I was done. But you know what? It happens.
It's rough.
It happens, and I was soaked from my chest down, and it's whatever,
Laying in your underwear after that.
I laid in my underwear in the tent for a couple hours, dried off, and got back after it. It's whatever.
So, Zach, you're the most experienced of this group here of 4, because Cody just shot his first deer this year, Coos deer, which we did a podcast about, and the second deer now, the Sitka Blacktail.
Yep.
Jake, you're new to this whole thing. Like, where do you? What's going on in your head? Like, does this seem like something that's as cool as advertised? Something that you want to keep going with? You got some nice sheds. I mean, that's a starting point, but Where are you at with this whole hunting thing?
First big game hunt. I mean, I went with Zach in D6 last year, but I didn't have tags or anything, so this was all new to me. I was always, just hanging out with Zach and going with him, and to have my own tags this year, I was hoping to get it done here in Alaska, but fell short. Got to get back after it in California and see where we could go.
Yeah.
Definitely think it's going to be something that I continue to do.
It's my first hunt ever when I was a meat packer too. And so you just go shoot something, kill it, let's pack it out. But this is a fun experience. When you're armed and it's you going after it, you're just so much, you're engaged on such a different level, man. It's just so, and
it's different.
I've tried to explain it. We've talked about it so many times, no matter whose podcast or show you watch and listen to, trying to describe the feeling of being a hunter is something that's so difficult, because if you say that it's fun, people think that you enjoy killing animals, and it's not about the killing of the animals. It's about that, that taking responsibility for the thing and being out there, and you're not outsourcing, the killing of animals. Exactly. And it's something that's heavy and fun. So,
after years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
You didn't get one, but how you've already been pricing new packs. You've already been pricing rifles. Like what? How deep in are you, and what's going to be your next purchase?
I think probably a rifle. I just packed in Zach's 6.5 Creedmoor, so I just shot with that a little bit before coming up here, and we've been talking about different rifles and everything, and I think that's probably the next big purchase.
What are you going to get?
I don't know yet. Not sure.
Something.
So many options.
Yeah, there's so many.
I do so much
options.
research trying to figure out what I want to buy. And
There's so much out there. It's not.
So
it's the same thing with gear. We had the conversation a couple of hours ago about packs.
Yeah.
Kufaru or Stone
Kuiu
Glacier.
or Stone Glacier.
I was wearing Sitka gear today or yesterday, and Cody's wearing Kuiu. And it's
and the day before you're in First Light.
And the day before I was in First Light. Yeah, I'm a mercenary.
It's never ending.
It's just about what's comfortable and what works for you. But it is kind of different when you put on that. This is my hunting gear, and I'm going out in the woods, and this is the goal, and it's
game time.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a different thing. You're not going up there in just a Jansport backpack and,
it's
sweatpants.
It's time to work.
After it,
It's time to work once you get out there.
Yeah, the terrain was a lot different from what I expected.
We were told, real easy hike.
Hour and a half up.
It's basically paved.
Simple hike.
Well, by Alaska standards, man. I mean, that's when
that
you
trail,
got off the
that trail was nice, though.
When you get off the trail, man, you knew that it was pretty nasty. That buckbrush and that sub-alpine stuff is pretty rough.
Podcast. So I almost died. It was insane.
Hour and a half hike really took these guys 4 hours.
It was insane.
Well, it was an hour and a half, and I only had to fit when I scouted it. Hour and a half hike. I had maybe a 15-pound pack. Moving pretty swift. It was pretty good, pretty easy. But yeah, it was. You had all your gear, and it starts adding up.
Yeah, 60 pounds.
Right, 60-pound packs.
60-pound packs compared to 15. It gets rough.
Well, there's not a whole lot that you can do. You have to have a tent. right?
Yep. No,
Well, you don't have to have a tent. You can you can sleep in a tarp or something like that, or an emergency blanket. But you want some level of comfort, right? So you got tent, you got your sleeping bag, you got your Thermarest.
The reason we need a tent
You got
is because
food.
Jake has 56 mosquito bites on one wrist.
Oh yeah, I just got tore up by
Let's
mosquito bites.
the disclaimer. Go ahead, Zach. I'm sure I know where you're going to go.
Jake Carden has 56 mosquito bites on one wrist.
I thought you were going to explain why.
Well,
When we first got up there the first day on opening day, the day before opening day.
Jeff, give me a minute here. So we make this brutal hike up to the top of the mountain, and we're hot. And Jake Carden decides to take off most of his clothes and spend the majority of his day wearing Nike shorts and flip-flops in the middle of the Alaskan bush.
I didn't plan to fall asleep, but I ended up taking like a 2-hour nap just laying out.
This guy sleeps for 2 hours in the Alaskan bush in his flip-flops and Nike shorts and gets destroyed by mosquitoes. And he's paying the price right now. Benadryl cream is his savior.
When we got up there the day before opening day, we wanted to be up there so the opening morning, it had been really hot, and so we had to be up early. You had to be up by, first light to see everything that may have been out there, to get the dew off the plants and then move back down to the timber. So we wanted to be up there, and so we were, but it was so hot. So we got up there mid-morning.
Like 75.
The day before opening day, and it was so hot. And then you couldn't glass, there was nothing out. It was so hot all day, and so we just made shelters out of the shade. If you were in your tent, the sun just heated up the tent so much, you needed that breeze. And so
miserable.
We spent a good 5 hours just kind of laying around up top there.
Like 12 hours.
And then,
It felt like 12 hours.
And then opening day, same thing. You have the heat
In the morning.
starting off so quick.
Mid-morning, yeah.
And we didn't see anything. We just saw one spike.
No, well, me and Jake had a nice 3x3 opening morning.
Because when we left camp, I said I don't want to even look down because then I'll get distracted. So we left camp about a half hour before you guys did. You guys were to look down and then go up to the bowl.
Yep.
We were going to the backside and try to get down this cut and then get across this. So we were trying to figure that out. And it looked fine, but Google Maps boned me on this one because you couldn't really see it. And
Google Maps
even from when I'm looking around, it looked kind of doable. Like you could pick your way down, you could pick your way back up the other side.
Yeah.
We picked our way down, but there was no way to even try going up because we're going to get cliffed out. And if we did go down the ridge, and if we did get something, well, they have 4 legs.
It was
the bear was jumping that bear at close range.
No, that cut was unbelievable.
So we get back to camp and we spend most of the middle day again, and so. Day 1 was Jake out there in no shirt and in flip-flops. And day 2, I come back and he's in a sleeping bag. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude.
In the sun.
In a sleeping bag in the sun. It's 75 degrees, then dude's in a sleeping bag. And he wakes up and he's just hot and sweaty. I'm like, dude, that's a rough first hunt. That is rowdy. I know he's concerned. He's been Googling on his phone about, if he has some sort of virus or something like that. Are bug bites supposed to do this? Yeah, it was nice. We came back, regrouped, went on another hunt in the rain, went to a different spot and saw a unicorn and saw a spike.
Stud unicorn, though.
Stud unicorn. And then the next day, go up and get that done there. But how do you guys like the whole Alaska experience? You get to come into town, you get to meet some people. You know some of the locals. You have a favorite local place to eat and whatnot.
Ooh, fat stands.
Yeah. How fun is it to come to a place and be able to do that? And how much do you value like Ketchikan as a place because you kind of know it's like a vacation home type thing.
Yeah, regardless of the hunting experience, we love this trip in general. It's a good time. We get to come up and visit with Jeff and live the Alaskan dream for a week, and we get to go out and hunt and hang out with the locals and.
Basically locals by now.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 2 years.
There.
Yeah, Jake's. This is for Jake's first trip, but me and Cody, we're seasoned vets, and we enjoy it a lot. It's a good time, good people.
That's the thing you miss if you go on a cruise. You get to see kind of the highlights of each area, but you don't get to meet, the people and the experience you don't really know. And that's the kind of rich thing. The thing that really draws me to living here is the people and the experience and everything about it. Walking out of the marina, and having the burgers there and walking around on the docks today. And, just knowing all those sort of things about it really makes it nice.
For sure.
But give me some deer recipes, Zach. You've been around hunting for a while. Give me some of your favorite recipes. The fajitas that we had tonight were seasoned with your secret mix. Are you going to share your flavor?
They didn't want to be secret.
Yeah,
it's all about the amounts, right? There are certain ingredients. Can you just give some of the ingredients and what you like to put on venison?
Yeah. So for our fajitas tonight, we use my AP rub, and I like to do a combination of garlic, salt, pepper, cumin, and what else do I use?
Paprika.
Paprika. Thanks, Jake. And it works pretty good on the fajitas. We like doing that, and then we do like to do a little reverse sear on the steaks. We didn't do that tonight, but we did fajitas. They turned out awesome. But yeah, maybe next time we'll do some steaks. We'll do a roast. Mm-hmm. That's what I like to do. Maybe we'll get Jeff to get a pellet grill out here, and
I need to.
We'll do some smoking. Yeah, that's where it's at. So.
It seemed really bad that we were looking to go down to the burger place for the last meal. You guys leave tomorrow.
We got 2 deer down.
I know. Yeah. We spent all afternoon processing the deer and cutting it up and packaging it for freezing. And then
You don't have Oreo shakes here, though.
That's true. I don't have Oreo shakes.
That's a negative.
Yeah, that was too bad that was closed down because that sounds good even right now.
No, but those fajitas were wonderful. We had a nice dinner.
We each had 5.
That went real quick.
We are stuffed to the gills full.
And you even said, Zach, I think that'll be enough. Yeah, I don't know. We probably could have gone for a couple more.
Yeah, no, he made about double what I thought would be okay, and we destroyed it. So,
well, I know you guys got to pack. We got to clean up a little bit. So, any closing thoughts about the hunt, about the trip, about anything in general? Pack changes, recommendations for trekking poles or non-trekking poles?
My trekking poles didn't last very well. I bought them for this trip, and they are both snapped in half.
Those which brand are those?
They're Black Diamond, and they're actually pretty expensive trekking poles.
You gotta get the purple ones. I borrowed Zach's mom's, and they were perfect.
The Black Diamond adjustables, and I got the Black Diamond that are the fixed ones, and they have so much more flex. So even though those are carbon fiber, I think there's something in the adjustment that keeps it sturdy or that kind of locks in. I had a couple times when I fell that once, and I got the pack with the meat. I stuck it in. And
sat on your deer's head,
and then I slipped, and then I rotated, so all my weight was on that trekking pole, and then I swung around, kind of caught myself. The weight then shifted the other way. I took the trekking pole between the legs. Fortunately, it gave in the mud, but it didn't break. It had a couple times where it was twisted at a pretty extreme degree. Had all my weight on it, but it didn't break. So my trekking poles, same brand, the fixed length were fine. The adjustable ones seem to
most trekking poles are standard use rated. Alaska use is a different level.
It's a different animal.
Yeah, if you want to get into the Alaska use, you got to go really high end. Get some Leckies.
What about for rain gear? Not frog togs?
Do not pull a Jake and buy frog togs. Go ahead and get yourself some Kuiu or some First Light or Sitka gear. And
it lasted all of 30 seconds before it broke off.
Jake made it about 6 foot down his first ridge line and destroyed his rain gear. So
just blew out.
Total destruction. So I'd recommend some better rain gear than Jake bought, and maybe some Lecky trekking poles.
But awesome trip. I want to thank Jeff for allowing us to come up here and hunt with him, and
crashing out at his house.
Awesome time.
That place smells bad.
Totally destroyed. We destroyed his house for a week, and he's been awesome letting us do it. So
I'm sure we'll be back as long as he allows us to. So.
Until he kicks us out, we'll be back.
But awesome time. Couldn't have asked for a better trip. Maybe 2 more deer worth, but
maybe 2 more deer would have been great. But it was awesome.
Awesome trip, all in all.
appreciate the time up here.
Absolutely.
When I asked that, I wasn't asking for thanks. I was looking at a moment or something like that you would remember. But I do appreciate it. It's fun. It makes it new for me, to be able to come up here and hunt with people who are excited to get out there and to camp and not whine and wanting to wake up at 10 o'clock and wonder why the deer aren't there. Understanding that it's difficult. Like deer don't want to be shot, and so it's going to chasing people up a mountain and getting after it. So it's a lot of fun for me to have people to go up there with. And,
Absolutely.
So that's good.
That was fun. I appreciate you having us out there, Jeff.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.